the rejection. The Omega's secret. My name is Arya, and I learned early that dreams are dangerous things for someone like me. As an Omega in the Silver Moon Pack, I existed in the shadows, cleaning, serving, invisible to those who mattered. But there was one person I could never stop watching, even though I knew I should. Alpha Marcus Sterling. He moved through the pack house like moonlight given form, tall, powerful, with dark hair and eyes that could freeze you in place or warm you from within. For 3 years, I had loved him in silence, treasuring every accidental smile he threw my way, every brief moment when his gaze lingered on me for just a second longer than necessary. I knew it was foolish. Omegas didn't end up with alphas. That was a fairy tale, and my life had never been a fairy tale. The announcement. The morning of the announcement, I woke before dawn as always. My small room in the servants' quarters was cold, barely large enough for a bed and a single wooden chair. I dressed quickly in my plain gray dress, braided my long auburn hair, and headed to the kitchens. "Big day today," Clara, the head cook, said as I entered. She was a kind woman, one of the few who treated me like a person rather than a servant. "The Alpha is finally choosing his Luna." My heart clenched, but I kept my face neutral. "I heard. Smart money is on Vivian Blackwood," Clara continued, kneading dough with practiced hands. "Her father's the Beta, after all. Strong bloodline, good connections. She'll make a proper Luna." Vivian. Beautiful, cruel Vivian with her golden hair and perfect smile that never reached her cold blue eyes. She had made my life miserable since the day I arrived at the pack house as an orphan child. Every chance she got, she reminded me of my place, of how worthless I was. And now she would become Marcus's mate. The ceremony. That evening, the entire pack gathered in the great hall. Chandeliers sparkled overhead, casting golden light on the assembled wolves. Everyone wore their finest clothes. I stood in the back with the other servants, wearing the same gray dress I always wore. Marcus stood at the front on the raised platform, devastatingly handsome in a black suit. His presence commanded the room without effort. Beside him stood his father, the former Alpha, and his mother, the Luna, both beaming with pride. "My pack," Marcus's voice rang out, strong and clear. "Tonight, I choose the woman who will stand beside me as Luna, who will help me lead this pack into the future." My chest tightened. I knew what was coming, but somehow hearing it would make it real in a way I wasn't prepared for. "Vivian Blackwood, step forward." The crowd erupted in applause. Vivian glided forward in a stunning red gown, her smile triumphant. She had won, just as she always won. But then something strange happened. As Vivian reached the platform, Marcus's eyes swept the crowd. They found me in the back, half hidden behind a stone pillar. For a moment, just a moment, something flickered in his expression. Regret? Longing? Then it was gone. The acceptance. "Vivian Blackwood," Marcus said, taking her hand. "You are strong, capable, and from a respected bloodline. Will you accept the position of Luna of the Silver Moon Pack?" "I accept with honor, Alpha," Vivian said, her voice dripping with satisfaction. The crowd cheered louder. Marcus placed the Luna's pendant around her neck, a silver moon on a delicate chain. It had belonged to his mother and her mother before her. I should have left then. Should have slipped away before the pain became unbearable. But I stood frozen, watching as Marcus kissed Vivian's hand, sealing the bond. "There's someone else," a voice whispered beside me. I turned to find Elder Margaret, the oldest wolf in the pack. Her cloudy eyes seemed to see right through me. "What do you mean?" I whispered back. "The Alpha looks at you when he thinks no one is watching," she said softly. "But duty and desire are often enemies, child. Sometimes the heart must break before it can be free." The confrontation. After the ceremony, I fled to the gardens. I needed air, space, anything to escape the suffocating weight of watching Marcus choose someone else. The gardens were empty, peaceful under the full moon. I sat on a stone bench near the fountain, letting silent tears fall. I had no right to cry. He had never been mine. This pain was my own fault for daring to hope. Arya. I jumped at the sound of his voice. Marcus stood a few feet away, his jacket discarded, his tie loosened. In the moonlight, he looked almost vulnerable. Alpha, I said, standing quickly and wiping my tears. Congratulations on your... Don't, he said, his voice rough. Please don't. We stood in silence, the fountain bubbling between us. Why are you here? I finally asked. I don't know, he admitted, running a hand through his dark hair. I should be inside with Vivian, accepting congratulations. Instead, I'm out here with the Omega, I finished, bitter despite myself. With you, he corrected, stepping closer. Arya, he stopped, jaw clenching. This isn't easy for me. What isn't easy? My voice shook. Choosing the perfect Luna? Having everything you could want? Wanting someone I can't have. The words burst from him like a dam breaking. Do you think this was easy? Do you think I wanted to choose duty over? He stopped again, breathing hard. My heart hammered. Over what? He was close now, so close I could feel the heat radiating from him. His hand lifted, almost touching my cheek, then dropped. It doesn't matter, he said, voice going cold. I'm Alpha. I have responsibilities. The pack needs a strong Luna, someone with the right bloodline, the right connections. Not an Omega, I finished, the words like glass in my throat. Say it, Marcus. Not someone like me. The pain in his eyes was real, but it didn't matter. He had still made his choice. I'm sorry, he whispered. So am I said. I'm sorry I wasted 3 years loving someone who saw me as beneath him. I walked away before he could respond, before I could see if my words had hurt him the way his had hurt me. The decision. That night, I made my choice. I couldn't stay here, couldn't watch Marcus build a life with Vivian, couldn't endure Vivian's cruelty now that she held all the power. I packed my few belongings in a small bag, some clothes, the silver bracelet my mother had left me, and the little money I had saved. Clara found me as I was leaving. You're going, she said. It wasn't a question. I can't stay. She pressed a small pouch into my hands. Money. Food for the journey. Head north to the neutral territories. There are packs there who don't care about bloodlines and rank. You can start fresh. Thank you, I whispered, hugging her. Be safe, child. And remember, sometimes rejection is redirection. Maybe the moon goddess has other plans for you. I slipped out of the pack house before dawn, leaving behind the only home I had ever known. The journey. The journey north took 3 days. I traveled on foot through forests and over mountains, staying away from packed territories. The neutral lands were dangerous, rogues and outcasts roamed freely, but I had nothing left to lose. On the 3rd evening, exhausted and hungry, I stumbled into a clearing. A stream ran through it, clear and cold. I knelt to drink, not noticing I wasn't alone until a voice spoke behind me. You're a long way from home, little wolf. I spun around to find a man leaning against a tree. He was tall and powerfully built, with storm-gray eyes and dark blonde hair. He wore black clothes that marked him as a warrior, and power radiated from him in waves. An alpha. I'm just passing through, I said, backing away slowly. I don't want trouble. Neither do I, he said, pushing off the tree with fluid grace. But you're on Shadow Ridge pack territory. I'm Alpha Kate Thornwood. And... You are? Arya. I lifted my chin, refusing to show fear. I'm traveling to the neutral settlements. Running from something? His gray eyes studied me with unsettling intensity. Running toward something, I corrected. A new life. He smiled slightly. Brave words for an Omega traveling alone. You could have been killed a dozen times over. Maybe I was hoping for it, I said before I could stop myself. His smile faded. Heartbreak? I didn't answer, but my silence was answer enough. Come with me, Cade said suddenly. What? To my pack house. You need food, rest, and safety. I can offer all three. When I hesitated, he added, no strings attached. Just hospitality. You can leave in the morning if you wish. Every instinct told me not to trust him. But I was exhausted, hungry, and the thought of another night alone in the woods was too much. Okay, I said quietly. Shadow Ridge. The Shadow Ridge pack house was smaller than Silver Moon's but somehow warmer. Wolves greeted their alpha with genuine smiles, not fear-based respect. Children played in the courtyards. Laughter echoed through the halls. Cade showed me to a guest room, a real room with a comfortable bed, fresh clothes laid out, and a bathroom with hot water. Thank you, I said, overwhelmed by the kindness. Dinner is in an hour, he said from the doorway. Join us if you'd like. No pressure. After he left, I stood in the middle of the room and cried. Not from sadness this time, but from the simple kindness of being treated like a person worth caring for. The dinner. I almost didn't go to dinner. But hunger won out, and I found my way to a dining hall filled with pack members. They welcomed me warmly, asking questions about my journey, sharing food and stories. Cade sat at the head of the table, watching me with those steady gray eyes. You're different from other alphas, I said when he walked me back to my room later. How so? You don't use fear to lead. Your pack actually likes you. He laughed, eh? He laughed, a deep, warm sound. Fear is easy. Respect is harder but more rewarding. He paused outside my door. Arya, you don't have to leave tomorrow. Shadow Ridge could use someone with your strength. My strength? I laughed bitterly. I'm an Omega. I have no strength. I disagree, he said quietly. You left everything behind to start over. You traveled dangerous territory alone. You're still standing after having your heart broken. That's not weakness, Arya. That's courage. I stared at him, speechless. Think about it, he said. Good night. As I lay in bed that night, I realized something. For the first time in my life, someone saw me, really saw me, as more than just an Omega. Maybe Elder Margaret was right. Maybe rejection was redirection. And maybe my story was just beginning. Part 2, The Awakening. A new beginning. I stayed at Shadow Ridge. What I thought would be one night turned into a week, then a month. Cade gave me a job in the Pax Healing Center, where I discovered a natural talent for herbal medicine. The pack healer, an elderly woman named Sage, took me under her wing. You have gentle hands, Sage said one afternoon as I ground herbs into powder. And something else. I can feel power in you, child. Dormant but there. I'm just an Omega, I said automatically, the old programming hard to break. Labels are chains we allow others to place on us, Sage replied. But I've lived long enough to know that rank isn't always what it seems. Sometimes the moon goddess hides her greatest gifts in unexpected places. I thought about her words often in the following weeks. Strange things had begun happening. Plants seemed to grow faster when I tended them. Wounds healed quicker under my care. And sometimes, late at night, I felt energy coursing through my body like liquid moonlight. Training. Cade noticed the changes too. One evening, he found me in the garden where medicinal plants grew. I hadn't heard him approach, lost in the sensation of energy flowing from my hands into a dying plant. Under my touch, it revived, leaves unfurling, color returning. Interesting, Cade said. I jumped, pulling my hands back. The plant immediately began wilting again. I don't know what that was. I do. He knelt beside me, his expression serious. Arya, have you ever heard of the Moonborn bloodline? No. They were an ancient line of wolves blessed directly by the moon goddess. They could heal, could sense emotions, had power that transcended normal pack rankings. They were thought to be extinct. My heart pounded. Why are you telling me this? Because I think you're one of them. His gray eyes held mine. Everything about you, your unusual abilities, the way power hides beneath your surface, even your eye color when you're emotional. It all points to Moonborn blood. That's impossible. I'm nobody. My parents were Omegas. Were they? Kate asked gently. Or is that what you were told? The question shook me. I knew nothing about my real parents. I had been found as a child, alone and scared, with no memory of my life before. If you're right, I said slowly, what does it mean? It means you've been living as half of yourself your whole life. It means you're far more powerful than anyone realized. He stood, offering his hand. Let me train you, Arya. Let me help you discover who you really are. Discovering power. Training with Cade changed everything. Every morning before dawn, we met in a clearing deep in Shadow Ridge territory. He taught me to access the power that had always been inside me, waiting. Close your eyes, Cade instructed one morning. Feel the energy in the earth, in the air, in your own blood. It's all connected. I did as he said. At first, there was nothing. Then, slowly, I felt it, a humming beneath my skin, like electricity waiting to be released. Now channel it, Cade said. Picture what you want to happen. I focused on a dead tree at the edge of the clearing. In my mind, I saw it living again. Green and strong. Energy surged through me, so powerful it took my breath away. When I opened my eyes, the tree was covered in fresh leaves, small flowers blooming along its branches. Incredible, Cade breathed. Over the following weeks, my abilities grew. I could heal serious injuries with a touch. I could sense the emotions of those around me. I was faster, stronger, more aware. The Omega who had hidden in shadows was disappearing, replaced by someone I barely recognized. But the most surprising change was my relationship with Cade. Growing closer. Again, Cade said, circling me as we sparred in human form. I lunged, but he caught my wrist, spinning me around until my back pressed against his chest. His arm circled my waist, holding me in place. Never telegraph your moves, he murmured near my ear. Your eyes give you away. I could feel his heartbeat against my back, strong and steady. The heat of his body made my own pulse quicken. Then I'll practice my poker face, I managed, trying to ignore the way my body responded to his nearness. He released me slowly, stepping back. That's enough for today. As we walked back to the pack house, Cade said, You've come far in 2 months, Arya. Your power is extraordinary. I had a good teacher. You had the strength inside you all along. I just helped you find it. He paused on the path, turning to face me. There's something else you should know. Word has spread about a powerful she-wolf in Shadow Ridge territory. Other packs are curious. My stomach dropped. Marcus? His pack has heard the rumors, Cade admitted. I don't know if he's made the connection yet, but it's only a matter of time. The thought of seeing Marcus again made my chest tight. Part of me wanted him to know what I had become, wanted him to regret his choice. But another part, the part that had grown stronger and wiser, wondered if I cared at all anymore. Let him come, I said finally. I'm not the same person who left Silver Moon. Cade smiled. Pride evident in his eyes. No, you're not. You're so much more. The truth about Vivian. News from Silver Moon arrived through a traveling merchant who sold goods to various packs. He stopped at Shadow Ridge, and Sage brought him to the healing center where I worked. Tell her what you told me, Sage said, her expression grave. The merchant, a nervous man named Peter, shifted uncomfortably. It's about Luna Vivian of Silver Moon Pack. There are rumors. What kind of rumors? I asked, my healing work forgotten. That she's cruel to the lower-ranked wolves. That she uses her position to punish anyone she doesn't like. That she spent pack resources on luxuries while cutting budgets for the elderly and sick. He lowered his voice. Some say she manipulated Alpha Marcus into choosing her, that she used dark magic or blackmail. My hands clenched. Does Marcus know? If he does, he's doing nothing about it. Though some say he seems unhappy, that he spends more time away from the pack house than in it. Peter glanced around nervously. There's more. Vivian has been searching for someone, an Omega who left the pack 3 months ago. She's obsessed with finding her. Why? I asked, though I already knew the answer. They say the Omega caught the Alpha's attention, that Vivian sees her as a threat even now. After Peter left, Sage touched my shoulder. She fears you. She's Luna now. She has everything. Why would she fear me? Because power without genuine connection is fragile, Sage said. She knows the Alpha's heart was never fully hers. And now she's heard rumors of a powerful she-wolf who might be the one she stole him from. Marcus arrives. 3 days later, Marcus Sterling arrived at Shadow Ridge. I was in the garden when commotion at the front gates drew my attention. Pack members gathered, murmuring. I pushed through the crowd and froze. Marcus stood just inside the gates with 2 of his warriors. He looked different, tired, with shadows under his eyes. His usual confidence dimmed. But when his gaze swept the assembled pack and landed on me, his eyes went wide. Arya? The way he said my name, with shock, wonder, and something that might have been pain, made my chest tighten. I had changed. My hair was longer, looser. I wore clothes that fit properly, that flattered instead of hiding. But more than that, power radiated from me now, visible to anyone with eyes to see. Hello, Marcus, I said calmly. Cade appeared beside me, his presence protective. Alpha Sterling. This is unexpected. Marcus tore his gaze from me to Cade. Alpha Thornwood. I've come to speak with Arya. She's not your pack member anymore, Cade said, his voice hard. You have no authority here. I know. Marcus's jaw clenched. I'm asking, not commanding. Arya, please. Just 5 minutes. Every instinct told me to refuse, to let him suffer the way I had suffered. But curiosity won out. What could he possibly have to say now? 5 minutes, I agreed. In the garden. Alone. Cade's hand touched my arm briefly, a question in his eyes. I nodded, assuring him I'd be fine. As Marcus and I walked to the garden, I felt the eyes of both packs following us. The confrontation. In the garden, surrounded by the plants I had brought back to life with my newly discovered power, Marcus and I faced each other. You're different, he said finally. I'm myself, I corrected. Maybe for the first time. Arya, he ran a hand through his hair, the gesture so familiar it hurt. I made a mistake. Choosing Vivian was wrong. I see that now. Do you? I couldn't keep the bitterness from my voice. What changed, Marcus? Did you suddenly realize that bloodlines and connections don't matter? Or did you just hear that the Omega you rejected has become powerful? He flinched. It's not like that. Then what is it like? Explain it to me, because from where I stand, you chose duty and status over anything real. And now that I'm not a powerless Omega anymore, suddenly I am worth your time? I always cared about you. The words burst from him. Do you think it was easy for me? I'm Alpha. I have responsibilities. The pack needed a Luna with the right bloodline, I finished. I know. You made that very clear. But here's what you didn't consider, Marcus. Maybe the moon goddess doesn't care about bloodlines. Maybe she cares about hearts and souls and genuine connection. I know that now, he said desperately. Vivian is not the Luna I thought she would be. She's cruel, manipulative. The pack is suffering under her leadership. I was blind. You were a coward, I said, the truth finally free. You chose the easy path, the expected path. And now you're living with that choice. I want to make it right. He stepped closer. Come back with me, Arya. I'll reject Vivian. I'll make you my Luna. We can. No. The single word stopped him cold. No, he repeated, as if he couldn't believe it. I don't love you anymore, Marcus. As I said it, I realized it was true. The pain had faded, replaced by something stronger, self-respect. You hurt me. You made me feel worthless. And now you want me back because I've become powerful? That's not love. That's possession. Arya, please. You had your chance. I turned away. Go home to your Luna. Live with your choice. I've made mine. Which is what? His voice was hollow. Staying here? With him? I thought of Cade, his patience, his kindness, the way he saw my worth even when I couldn't. I thought of Shadow Ridge, where I had found not just a home but myself. My choice is me, I said. For the first time in my life, I'm choosing myself. And that's something you taught me, Marcus. You taught me that the only person I can truly rely on is myself. A new understanding. After Marcus left, defeated, broken, I found Cade waiting by the fountain. How did it go? He asked. He wanted me back. I sat beside him. He said he made a mistake, that he wants to reject Vivian and make me his Luna. Cade's expression didn't change, but I felt his tension. And I said no. Why? I turned to face him, really seeing him, this alpha who had given me shelter, training, respect, and space to become who I was meant to be. Because going back would be settling, I said. Because I deserve someone who chose me from the beginning, not someone who only values me after I become powerful. I paused. Because my heart has already started healing. And it's healing here, with people who see me as I am. Arya, Cade said softly, his gray eyes intense. I need to tell you something. What? I didn't offer you a place in my pack out of pity or kindness. From the moment you stumbled into that clearing, exhausted and heartbroken but still fighting, I felt something. A pull, a recognition. He took my hand. I've been waiting for the right time to tell you, waiting for you to heal and find yourself. But you should know, you're not just a pack member to me. My breath caught. Cade. I'm not asking for anything, he said quickly. You've been through enough. I just wanted you to know that when you're ready, if you're ever ready, I'm here. And I see you, Arya. Not your rank, not your power. You. For a long moment, we sat in silence, hands clasped, the future suddenly full of possibilities I hadn't dared to imagine. Thank you, I whispered. For everything. Always, he promised. And as the sun set over Shadow Ridge, I realized that sometimes the best revenge isn't hurting those who hurt you. Sometimes it's building a life so beautiful, so full, that you forget to care about revenge at all. But my story wasn't over yet. Vivian was still out there, still scheming. And I had a feeling our final confrontation was coming sooner than I thought. The reckoning. Vivian's plot. 2 weeks after Marcus's visit, Shadow Ridge received an official summons. The High Council, the governing body that oversaw all packs in the region, was calling a gathering. All alphas were required to attend, and they could bring key pack members. It's unusual, Cade said, studying the summons at dinner. The High Council rarely convenes unless there's a serious matter. What kind of serious matter? I asked. Territory disputes, challenges to leadership, accusations of broken pack law. He looked up, concern in his gray eyes. Or accusations against individuals. My stomach dropped. you think this is about me? I think someone wants you exposed, Cade said grimly. Someone who feels threatened by your power and your presence here. Vivian, I breathed. Sage, sitting across from us, nodded. The timing is suspicious. She knows you're here now, knows you've grown powerful. She's Luna of Silver Moon, she has influence with the High Council. What could she accuse me of? I asked, fear creeping in. I've done nothing wrong. She doesn't need truth, Cade said. Just doubt. If she can make the council question your intentions, your bloodline, your right to exist freely, she can have you punished or banished from all pact territories. Then we fight, I said, surprising myself with my certainty. I won't run anymore. I won't let her take away everything I built here. Cade smiled, fierce and proud. Then we fight together. The gathering. The High Council convened in neutral territory, a massive stone amphitheater built centuries ago. Wolves from every major pack gathered, alphas, betas, lunas, and witnesses. The air thrummed with power and tension. I walked beside Cade, wearing a simple but elegant dress the color of deep forest green. My auburn hair was braided with silver threads. I looked nothing like the timid Omega who had fled Silver Moon. I looked like someone who belonged. Marcus was there, standing with his pack's delegation. Vivian clung to his arm, resplendent in gold, her smile sharp as a blade. When her eyes found me, pure hatred flashed across her face before she masked it with false sweetness. The High Council consisted of 5 elders, the oldest, most respected alphas from various territories. They sat in high-backed chairs on a raised platform, surveying the gathered wolves with ancient, knowing eyes. We convened to hear accusations brought by Luna Vivian Blackwood of Silver Moon Pack, the head elder, a silver-haired woman named Moira, announced. Luna Vivian, state your claim. Vivian stepped forward gracefully. Honored Council, I bring concerns about a wolf currently residing in Shadow Ridge Pack. Arya, formerly of Silver Moon, has exhibited unnatural abilities that suggest dark magic or forbidden practices. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Dark magic was the highest taboo among wolves, punishable by death. Lies. Cade growled, but Elder Moira raised a hand. Let her finish, Alpha Thornwood. Vivian's smile widened. She appeared at Shadow Ridge with no past, no known bloodline. Within weeks, she displayed powers that no ordinary wolf possesses, healing beyond normal ability, control over living things, unnatural speed and strength. I believe she has made a dark pact to gain these abilities, and she poses a danger to all packs. The murmuring grew louder. Wolves looked at me with suspicion, fear. Furthermore, Vivian continued, she has bewitched Alpha Thornwood, using her dark magic to manipulate him into protecting her. This is not just about one rogue wolf, it's about protecting the sanctity of our kind from corruption. She was good, I had to admit. She made herself sound concerned. Protective, when really she was just threatened. These are serious accusations, Elder Moira said. Arya, do you deny them? I stepped forward, head high. I deny using dark magic. But I don't deny my power. I am Moonborn. Shocked silence. Then chaos. Impossible, someone shouted. The Moonborn are extinct. Prove it, another voice called. Elder Moira raised both hands, commanding silence. Moonborn? That is a bold claim, child. The Moonborn bloodline has been dead for over a century. Not dead, a new voice said. Hidden. An elderly man emerged from the crowd, leaning on a carved walking stick. He was ancient, his face lined with countless years, but his eyes were sharp and clear. Elder Thaddeus, Elder Moira said, surprised. We thought you had passed. Not yet, Thaddeus said with a dry chuckle. He approached me, studying my face with intensity. May I? I nodded. He placed one gnarled hand against my forehead. Energy pulsed between us, recognition, connection. His eyes widened. It's true, he breathed. Honored council, I served the last Moonborn family before the purge. I was there when they hid their infant daughter to save her from those who feared their power. This girl carries their mark, their essence. She is Moonborn. The amphitheater erupted again. Vivian's face went white, then red with fury. This proves nothing, she shrieked. If anything, it proves she's dangerous. The Moonborn were killed because they were too powerful, because they threatened the natural order. No, Elder Thaddeus said firmly. They were killed because wolves like you feared what you couldn't control. They were healers, protectors, blessed by the moon goddess herself. And now one has returned. The challenge. Elder Moira raised her hands again. This changes things considerably. If Arya is truly Moonborn, she has every right to exist freely among the packs. However, Luna Vivian's concerns about unnatural power must still be addressed. Then let me address them, I said, my voice ringing clear. Vivian fears me not because I'm dangerous, but because I threaten her position. She manipulated Alpha Marcus into choosing her, and she spent her time as Luna abusing those weaker than her and hoarding power. How dare you? Vivian snarled. You're nobody. You're a pathetic Omega who seduced my mate and now tries to destroy me with lies. Your mate? I laughed bitterly. Marcus was never truly yours, and deep down, you know it. That's why you've been hunting me, why you brought these false accusations. You're terrified that the truth will come out. What truth? Vivian demanded. I looked at Marcus. He stood frozen, watching us with stricken eyes. Tell them, Marcus. Tell them the truth about your choice. He was silent for a long moment. Then, quietly, he said, she's right. Vivian whirled on him. What? You manipulated me, Marcus said, his voice hollow. You blackmailed me. You said if I didn't choose you, you'd reveal information that would destroy my family's reputation, that would tear the pack apart. I chose you to protect them, not because I loved you. The crowd gasped. Vivian's beautiful mask cracked, revealing the cruel, desperate woman beneath. You're weak, she spat at Marcus. You always were. And you, she turned to me, eyes blazing. You think you've won? You think being Moonborn makes you special? I challenge you. Silence fell like a stone. A challenge to combat was serious, legally binding, overseen by the High Council. The winner would be declared right, the loser punished or exiled. Vivian, no, Marcus said, but she ignored him. I challenge Arya to ritual combat, Vivian declared formally. Let the moon goddess decide who speaks truth. Elder Moira looked grave. Arya, do you accept? I should have been terrified. Vivian was trained, experienced. But I felt only calm certainty. I accept. Then it's decided, Elder Moira said. Combat will take place tomorrow at moonrise.